Let's now explore maybe the main feature of VS Code, the File Explorer. So here it is on the left. If we click and we have an open folder, we can explore the files inside this intro folder that we opened. Well, here we have a list of files and folders inside this folder. I can expand them and see their content. If I will click on one file, I will open it in preview mode. You can tell that this is preview mode because the name of the file is like in italics. If I will click on another file, for example, it will also be in preview mode, and it will replace the other preview mode. If, for example, I will double click on a file, I will have it in open mode. This means that if I will open other files, they will be like multiple tabs in a browser. And you will see many similar functionalities between a VS Code and a web browser, because in the background it runs on a lightweight browser. So most of the code that contains that makes VS Code work is code that usually runs in the browser. Well, but let's explore this File Explorer. As you can see, I have here multiple types of files. Most of them are text files, and if I will open a text file, here on the status bar on the bottom, you will see the encoding on this file. For me is UTF-8. For most files it is. Also, VS Code will try to understand the file format. For example, it knows that this is an HTML file, and it will tell me that it is rendering it as an HTML file. If, for example, maybe VS Code gets this wrong, I can click on this button and select maybe another identifier or another syntax highlighting for this particular file. And I can use VS Code maybe also to explore, for example, other files like images and like text files. If I click on this minus button right here, I will collapse all the files right here. And this Explorer view has also other entries. It has also, for example, this outline entry. So if I will open my file and if I will explore this outline, you will see that it will try to give me a summary of this file in the way it can understand it. If this is an HTML file, it will give me the outline and the components of this HTML. If, for example, I will open a JavaScript file, it should give me the symbols or the outline of this JavaScript file. Currently, I have a function and a constant, which is also a function. JavaScript is a little strange. This is not the point of the course. What is the point of the course is the way we can use this Explorer view. Well, we can't just use it for exploring. We can also create new files inside it. So if I will right click on this Explorer view, I can create new files, new folders. I can do the same from these two shortcut buttons right here. The first one is to create a new file, and I can give it a name, maybe test.js, something like this, and I will have a new file right here. I can create the same a folder, or I can create a new file, and by giving it or maybe test2./test.js, it will create a folder that is called test2, and then inside it will create a new file. I can delete this file. I will delete it because it's useless. I will also delete this file. I can usually do all the options or the operations that you usually do inside a file explorer. I can copy files, I can rename them, and so on. Also, since this is a text editor, I can simply open any file right here and for example, change the text file, and as soon as I'm editing a file, you'll see that now the icon for this Explorer view will have 1 right here. This means that this is one unsaved file. If I will open yet another file right here and I will edit it again, you'll see that this will indicate that I have 2 unsaved files right here. I can save a file by calling Ctrl S or by calling the file right here and then save the file like this. If I will save it, it will tell me that, hey, I only have one file. I will also save this. And also all these opened files, I can visualize them inside this Open Editors entry right here. Of course that this view is completely customizable. This means that I can close this Explorer view and I can have more real estate, let's say, for visualizing my file. Maybe if I have a big file and I want to take all the screen space to visualize it, I can do it like this. If I have multiple files which I want to edit or visualize in the same time, I can do that very easy. VS Code is very customizable, and for example, I can take this file and like visualize it together with the other files, and now I can visualize them in the same time and compare them and find references and so on. This is great about VS Code, the way it is customizable. I can open yet another file and maybe, you know, make this view completely, fill it with files if I have to work with multiple files. This is what makes VS Code such a powerful file explorer and editor. And before finishing this lecture, I want to show you one last cool trick when we are visualizing files. Let's say that we are exploring some big files, maybe something like this, files which are really big. You can expand them or compress different entries inside your files with this arrow symbols right here. And maybe something in this way I can simply, get out of the way what I really don't need when I'm visualizing a file. Maybe if even in HTML, I can, make the parts that I'm not interested in a little smaller. Maybe with YAML, this works with almost any file format. If I'm, compressing this, I can, with this way, focus on exactly what I'm into. This was just a cool trick. Let's now move on into the next lecture and talk about key shortcuts.